So the first boss in the third DLC. Oh wait, I gotta silence myself here a little bit. Is it picked up? There it is. Okay. So the first boss of the third DLC is Sanada Ukimura again, but this time around, when you whittle his HP down below 50%, he also summons Sarutobi Sasuke, which sounds like a pain in the ass, but if you're lucky and or you manipulate the damage, this happens. So there are a few ways you can deal with this. I don't think there's anything like really crazy I can tell you here about the fight. But what I did is I just opened the fight with the headshot from the bow for the knockdown Okizeme combo. I always say Okizeme, and you guys maybe not even know what the hell am I talking about. Okizeme is a attack you use when an opponent is on the ground and waking up, like standing up from the ground. And in this case, I use the quick draw for the attack from behind, so that's like a knockdown, and from behind that's a lot of damage. And then I use the killing strike, and then I get behind the back for guaranteed damage. Now, some enemies give you more opportunity to attack, some of them break out of it with the block. Yukimura breaks out of it. So then I pick up my living weapon. Right, so we can see that the HP is like a little bit over 50%, so Sarutobi Sasuke still isn't spawned. So that's pretty useful. Now I parried him because I saw that he's not using the living weapon. Do the same combo. I got really lucky here because Sasuke was almost on my back. But I just straight up freaking killed Sanada here. And that ends the mission. You don't even have to kill both of them. You only need to kill Sanada Ukimura. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. The next boss is on Meraki, which is like a bird enemy. Maybe you have seen it in like a Persona game or something like that. I was fighting this bird like normally, fair and square, for like, I don't know, 20 minutes. And the fight is actually really fun because the moveset of the Meraki is really interesting, and there's this huge dance. The Meraki has moveset in the air, on the ground. Sometimes it does projectiles. Sometimes it also has a spin. It has a command grab. It's a really cool enemy. But then I noticed that you know, in a video game fashion, the enemy has this huge shiny part of the body of the enemy that I did not notice before, and is the Amrita spike. Right, also this is the way of the Ys, the NG+++, so the Meraki already is in the second phase of the fight. It's like the shockwave, and the horn is now shiny. And I did play Lost Planet 2, so I should know all about orange body parts that are weaker, right? But I totally just blanked, and I did not notice it until later. So I thought, hey, can I shoot the horn with the bow? And you definitely can. It knocks him down and leaves him vulnerable. So I approach him from behind and do my Hokuto no Ken combo. And since it's from behind, it's a lot of fucking damage. And that's it. That was it. That just... I'm not sure exactly how did I do that, but yeah, that's it. Just a lot of damage from behind. I was very surprised.
It would appear that I can.
The third boss is Totomi Hideori. Now I didn't really fight this guy too much because I kind of defeated him quickly. I think it took like 3 or 4 tries.
Takes too long.
But the interesting thing about this guy, he's one of the only 2 enemies in the entire game that has 2 different weapon sets when it comes to like humans. He uses the single sword and then dual swords. As you can see, you can parry him, so that's cool. You have enough time to do the Shrike and the Killing Strike combo damage, so that's also very useful. And I haven't really seen his moveset here all that much because I killed him kind of quick. But I saw him in the Abyss mode, where he was way tougher. He also entered his second phase quicker, so that's more dangerous. Now this move here, If you attack him during this, I'm gonna assume that's a parry. He would parry you and do like the counter attack.
Okay.
So that's very dangerous. He has a bunch of charging moves, so that's dangerous too, but you can block them all. You can't parry them, but you can block them. Now the problem here is that now he switches the clean like transition to the dual stance. It's pretty cool.
Dual swords. Okay.
Now usually,
I was not blocking.
yeah, also he inflicts all sorts of elemental damage, so you do not want to get hit by anything because it's gonna electrify you and put you on fire and confuse you, and it's just bad news. Now usually when the enemy like dodges in, you can parry that because it's just a regular attack. I'm gonna do that like really soon here. So it's pretty predictable. The problem arises when he, instead of the regular attack, he kicks. I think it's also like the only human enemy that can do first attack with a kick. Okay, here's the dash. Let's slow that down. A lot of revenants and human enemies do this. When they like dash in with like that little dash from this distance as you approach them, it's a really easy thing to manipulate the AI with. So he does the dash in, and I know exactly that he's just going to attack, so I parry him immediately. I learned that from fighting revenants and other human enemies, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, there are some other enemies that can attack with a kick. Like the first attack in the string is a kick, which you can parry, and it's gonna kill your key. I could have killed him here because as he transitions into the second phase, he's not doing anything. He's not attacking or anything like that. There's a shockwave after he's done doing the transition, but he was at magic pixel, so I could have totally killed him there. But since this is one of my first encounters, I wasn't sure what's going on, so I just backed off to observe. It's a cool fight. It's definitely in the vein of Nobunaga, since he's using so many elements and he changes what he does with each stance and all that stuff. So I really enjoyed this. It was pretty cool fight. Yeah, Esprit has a sword. And the last fight. So the last fight in the DLC is Kyuubi, but we're not gonna be looking at the story mission. We're gonna be looking at Abyss Mode floor number 60. And boy, that took some freaking doing because Kyuubi definitely, probably has the highest HP of any boss in the game. Oh wait a minute, Umibozu probably has more HP. But suffice it to say, this boss has a lot of fucking life, and it takes forever to kill this freaking thing. And the reason why we are not looking at the Way of the Wise story mode mission of this boss is that it was not my proudest moment in streaming history. I was really angry and salty, and just don't look it up, okay? I sounded like a bitch. It's terrible. This is much better. This is a much better encounter. It took me like I don't know, hour and a half to kill Kyuubi on the story mode, so it really taught me how to fight this monster. There's very few things that you need to watch out for, but they're really quick and they're really dangerous. So this boss doesn't, what I'm trying to say is that this boss doesn't have that many moves, but they are all very dangerous. And they don't all have the same approach that you need to take. So what I'm doing here is always I take like 1 or 2 hits and then I block. You need to block. At least for my build, I'm using the dual swords, so it doesn't take that much ki to block the hits. Also, I'm using Karajishi, the Lightning Lion, so it further decreases the guard ki reduction. And the thing is about the Kyuubi is that the attacks cover a lot of ground. Also, we can notice, I'm gonna slow it down here, that not only there are the 9 tails and the or the 4 legs, there are also 2 arms growing out of the back of the monster, which can also attack, and they are totally independent of the other moves the enemy is doing. If you're too far, it's gonna start chucking rocks. So the best approach here is to just stick really close by. You do not want to get far away from this boss, because it's gonna mix you up. It's gonna mix you up. This attack with the tails, sometimes, I don't understand why, I'm always like 100% sure I'm dodging out of it. I'm like way out of there, but it's killing me. I don't think there's a shockwave or anything like that. It's just that the hitbox is huge because the tail is just massive. And I guess I mistime my dodge just ever so slightly. Like, look at this. There's a dodge, I block. There's an attack, attack. Now I dodged, and I still died. I guess I didn't do the double dodge for the roll, and I didn't create enough space. But the quick change scroll saved my ass. Now, you can see that I'm just standing there and I'm blocking, and I'm reapplying my buffs. Switching the item palette like crazy, just trying to re-up my stuff to the like default position. And the fact that I'm using the dual swords and the Karajishi really allows me to block pretty much everything and just chill for a second. Because there's nothing this boss does that is unblockable except the command grab. The command grab is really easy to evade because the startup animation is very obvious, and it also takes really long for the move to come out. I should have probably used the living weapon quicker because I'm using the extraction talisman, which gives me Amrita with each attack. So my weapon was ready like probably at the start of the fight. So I probably should have used this immediately. Also, you don't take damage to your life pool when you have the living weapon up. So I definitely should have used it earlier. I probably won't have time to use it again. Here I run out of ki. I wanna take a look at this because I think at this point in the difficulty when it comes to this game, you probably should consider having few specific special effects on your armor. One of them obviously is extended iframes. That's that's mandatory. You definitely want that shit because it's gonna help you out a lot. But another thing that's really helpful is ki recovery bonus buff when you run out of ki. That's useful when you block a cannonball or when you block some blow that's just gonna reduce your ki to 0, which happens right here because I was attacking a lot, I was blocking, and I was just sprinting, and I was actually not looking at my ki. You can see here the green bar. That's my like stamina or ki, and it's really running low. And this tail swipe in the back, man, that deals so much damage. It took so much ki even though I'm blocking and with the Karajishi and all that. So that's really dangerous. Now I ran out of ki, but keep watching the bar. It gets filled up so freaking quick. It's crazy. Like it's already full. Let's look at that at full speed. It goes up really fast. Pew! Man, I'm ready. This is really important because it basically allows you to reset the neutral and basically block the oncoming hits after getting reduced to 0. And that is really huge. That's gonna save your life multiple times. Now, another thing I noticed when I was experimenting with the new build that I have, here's the command grab. It's really slow. And there's this huge, nice visual indicator. This is like the black and white effect there. Here's a dodge in. It's I'm not even sure where exactly the hitbox is for that. Here you could see the rock throw of the right arm through the rock, but you can still block it, so it's fine. The thing is, it can throw multiple rocks, so if you block one and then you try to heal at low HP, it can throw another rock and it's just gonna kill you, and it's bad news. That has happened to me multiple times in the story mode, so that sucks. Now, I was gonna say that as I was experimenting with the new set, I noticed that there's exactly 6 buff icons underneath my HP bar and stuff. And I have more buffs than that, but they don't get displayed. Now, I haven't really tested it out because I'm not even sure how I could test it out. But I hope that despite the buffs not being displayed on that bar, I'm hoping they're still active. Because if they're not active, then, man, that would suck. Because one of the most important buffs that I have right now with the new set is that every time I absorb Amrita, or souls, I get double damage for like half a second for the next attack. And using the extraction talisman basically means that with each attack, with each normal attack, the enemy releases Amrita. So I'm basically absorbing Amrita with each attack, with slight delay after it, which should basically double my DPS just straight up, which sounds extremely amazing and useful. But I'm considering how fast the pace of the combat is, I'm not sure if that's actually what's happening there. I'm not sure if the buff actually kicks in every time. The damage is very good, so I guess it's fine, it works for the most part, but I'm not sure if it works always. There may also be some sort of internal cooldown that is obscured from the player, which is not explained, but I don't know. But I assume they should be active because this could also mean that if you have like 4 buffs and like 4 debuffs at the same time, it could maybe result in some debuffs not being active because they would not be displayed. I don't know. That's probably not the case. Anyway, that's I think all that I wanted to look at for today when it comes to the non-gameplay